It is 3:17 in the morning. The airbase is dark, the runway lights casting cold blue shadows across the tarmac. Then, without warning, the silence shatters. Alarms echo across the flight line. Ground crews sprint toward a massive aircraft, their voices sharp and urgent over crackling radio frequencies. Fuel trucks accelerate. Weapons technicians conduct final checks at a pace that leaves no room for error. And then, in the darkness, 4 enormous turbofan engines ignite, one by one, bathing the surrounding concrete in a wall of heat and roaring fire. Within minutes, the silhouette of a B-1B Lancer strategic bomber rises from the runway and disappears into the black sky above. Its afterburners leaving a trail of light, like a comet launched from the Earth. For the intelligence analysts watching satellite feeds and radar screens at that moment, no additional briefing is required. When a B-1 Lancer launches on short notice under emergency conditions, the message is unmistakable. Something serious is unfolding in the Middle East, and the United States has just responded with its most powerful conventional strike platform. To understand the gravity of that moment, we must first understand the world that produced it. For decades, tensions between the United States and Iran have cycled through periods of confrontation, proxy warfare, and uneasy silence. The Islamic Republic has long pursued an asymmetric strategy, funding militant networks across Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen, developing ballistic missile capabilities, and accelerating a nuclear program that Western governments regard as an existential threat to regional stability. Each time those tensions have escalated toward a breaking point, the United States has responded not only with diplomacy, but with strategic military signals. And one of the clearest, most unmistakable signals in the American military playbook is the deployment of strategic bombers. Throughout history, from the Persian Gulf to the South China Sea, the sight of long-range bombers moving across the sky has carried a message that no diplomatic cable can replicate. It says simply, we are capable, we are present, and we are ready. The B-1B Lancer is central to that message. Born from the Cold War and redesigned as a precision conventional strike platform, it is today one of the most capable and feared aircraft in the United States Air Force inventory. A supersonic weapon system capable of reaching virtually any target on Earth with devastating effect. The emergency launch sequence begins at the highest levels of the command chain. An intelligence report, a threat assessment, a decision made in a matter of hours rather than days. And then the order flows downward, through command centers, through operations officers, and finally to the crews and ground teams, who must transform a parked aircraft into a combat-ready weapon in the shortest time possible. The B-1B Lancer is not a simple aircraft to prepare for battle. Its systems are complex, its weapons load staggering. In a maximum payload configuration, the Lancer can carry approximately 75,000 pounds, roughly 34 tons, of conventional munitions. That includes precision-guided bombs, joint direct attack munitions, long-range cruise missiles, and a range of other standoff weapons designed to strike targets from distances that keep the aircraft well beyond the reach of most air defense systems. Ground crews work through their checklists with practiced efficiency and barely contained urgency. Weapons are loaded and safe. Navigation systems are aligned. Fuel is topped to maximum capacity. Pilots and weapons systems officers climb aboard, their faces calm in the way that only years of training can produce. The aircraft's variable sweep wings are positioned, systems checked, engines wound at full power. Then the brakes release. The B-1B accelerates down the runway, 100,000 pounds of aircraft and ordnance pressing toward rotation speed. The nose lifts, the wheels leave the ground, and the Lancer climbs into the night, armed and dangerous, on a heading that the rest of the world is already scrambling to understand. Across the region, the response is immediate. Air defense radar systems that have been tracking routine air traffic suddenly refocus their attention. In command and control centers from the Persian Gulf to the Eastern Mediterranean, duty officers begin updating their threat bulletins. Intelligence agencies activate collection assets, satellites, signals intelligence platforms, aerial reconnaissance, all oriented toward a single question. Where is the bomber going? And what is its target? Allied forces across the theater shift to elevated readiness. Naval vessels in the Gulf adjust their position. Fighter escort packages are considered, coordinated, and in some cases, scrambled. On American air bases throughout the region, additional aircraft are brought to alert status, ready to either support the mission or respond to any Iranian countermovement. Iran's own military, meanwhile, is watching. Revolutionary Guard commanders are in contact with air defense units. Iranian radar installations begin tracking the Lancer's flight profile. Diplomatic back channels crackle with urgent inquiries. question in Tehran is not simply where the bomber is headed. It is whether this launch marks the beginning of something larger, a coordinated strike package, the opening move in a campaign that could alter the balance of power across the entire region. That ambiguity, that uncertainty on the adversary's side, is itself a core element of American strategic intent. The launch of a single B-1B under emergency conditions is alarming. The forward deployment of multiple B-1 Lancers to bases within operational range of Iran is something else entirely. It is a declaration, in the language of air power, that the United States is not bluffing. In recent years, American strategic bombers have been repositioned to bases across Europe and the Middle East in direct response to Iranian provocations. These deployments have been publicly acknowledged, sometimes deliberately so, because visibility is part of the deterrence equation. A bomber that the adversary can see on a runway in Diego Garcia or Al Udeid is a bomber that is already shaping Iranian decision-making before a single weapon is released. But in periods of acute crisis, the bomber's role shifts from symbol to instrument. Strikes attributed to American air power have targeted Iranian military infrastructure, weapons depots, and command facilities. Each strike raises the stakes. Each Iranian response, whether direct retaliation or acceleration of its missile program, raises them further. The cycle of escalation moves faster than diplomacy can manage, and at its center, orbiting at 30,000 feet, is the B-1B Lancer. The instrument through which American military will is converted into kinetic reality. What makes the B-1B Lancer such an extraordinary weapon system is not simply its payload, though that alone would make it remarkable. It is the combination of capabilities that define the platform. Speed, range, stealth characteristics, and weapons versatility that makes it genuinely dangerous in a way that few aircraft in the world can match. The Lancer can exceed Mach 1.25 in level flight, making it the fastest bomber currently in the American inventory. Its variable sweep wing design allows it to optimize aerodynamic performance across the full spectrum of flight regimes, from low-level, high-speed penetration runs to high-altitude precision strike profiles. Its terrain-following radar allows the aircraft to fly at extremely low altitudes, below the coverage horizon of many radar systems, effectively using the Earth itself as a shield. From a tactical standpoint, the Lancer's ability to carry long-range standoff munitions is perhaps its most strategically significant feature. By launching cruise missiles or glide bombs from standoff distances, the aircraft can strike targets deep inside defended airspace without ever entering the lethal envelope of enemy surface-to-air missile systems. This makes it an ideal platform for operations against adversaries with layered, sophisticated air defenses. Precisely the kind of integrated air defense network that Iran has spent years and billions of dollars constructing. When the B-1B is in the air, no target in the operational theater can be considered truly safe. The geopolitical shockwaves from a strategic bomber deployment extend far beyond the immediate theater of operations. In allied capitals